I am Dr. Gueye-Weinstein, a physician, African scholar, and author of historical texts. For over 20 years, I have studied our histories, sat with elders who carry memory in their bones, interviewed scholars across continents, and pressed deep into the archives of our people. And through it all, I have uncovered a pattern, a deliberate, centuries-long phenomenon that most only sense in the shadows of awareness, a campaign of erasure, woven into our textbooks, our religions, our cultures, designed to convince the world that Africa birthed nothing, that those who were colonized or enslaved somehow deserved it, that the greatest civilizations of the world were not ours. Let me tell you a story, not the one they wanted you to hear, but the one that lives in our bones, our songs, our bloodlines. This series is about breaking the silence, about restoring what was hidden, about remembering the stories of humanity as they truly are. Because the telling of these stories will liberate all of us. When truth rises, it does not free one people, it unbinds humanity itself as more stories begin to unfold. So sit with me, listen closely, and together, let us reclaim what was stolen so we may remember who we are and reimagine the world we seek to create. This is Remembering Humanity. In the shadows of slavery, Africans in Brazil and across South America did something extraordinary. They built new worlds of freedom, of innovation, of survival. These were the quilombos, societies of the escaped, where Africa's genius was reborn on new soil. Palmares was the greatest of them all. Deep in Brazil's forests, tens of thousands of Africans, indigenous people, and even poor Europeans came together to form a nation of the exiled. For nearly a century, Palmares defied empires. They built sophisticated governance, leaders chosen by councils, communities organized by kinship and skill, strategies designed to withstand siege. This was not chaos, this was order, African order adapted to a hostile land. Agricultural knowledge sustained them. Africans brought expertise in rice cultivation from West Africa. Along with indigenous techniques, they mastered Brazil's swamps and tidal plains, creating farming systems that European colonizers could not replicate. Later, those same rice sciences would fuel the wealth of the Americas, yet the credit to African knowledge was erased. Medicine was a science of memory and adaptation. Healers blended African pharmacology with South American plants, creating new systems of care. Knowledge of hibiscus, kola, and baobab merged with native herbs to fight infection, fever, and pain. Palmares was more than refuge. It was a laboratory of healing. And then there was capoeira. Outwardly, it looked like dance, but behind the rhythm lay a martial art, a system of combat disguised in music and movement. It was philosophy in motion, a way to defend freedom while preserving joy. Spiritual systems carried Africa across the Atlantic. In ritual, songs, and drumming, memory was preserved. Yoruba Orisha became candomblé deities. Bantu spirits found new voice in Umbanda. These practices encoded survival, identity, and genius into rhythm and ceremony. When Palmares finally fell in 1694 to overwhelming colonial assault, it was not the end. The memory endured. Quilombos scattered across Brazil, Suriname, Colombia, and beyond carried on the legacy. Hidden nations of freedom, resisting erasure. Today, their descendants still live in communities recognized as quilombolas. Their music, food, and spiritual traditions have become part of Brazil's cultural soul. But beneath the samba, the drums, and the faith lies something deeper. Proof that even during the harshest conditions, African genius could not be extinguished. The quilombos remind us Africa did not just survive slavery, she rebuilt herself in exile, created nations in hiding, and gave the world knowledge that still shapes it today.